The son of Leon Caldero saying, hey, listen, I'll be your zaddy, your sweet sugar daddy. That's him, not me. Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift of DJ Kevin Stew. It's Real Talk Night. I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on tune in the radio, much love to you. Big ups to you. Those on the night shift of DJ Kevin Stew. Yeah, that's the channel name. Those who are locked in on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, much love to you. Big up Mr. Lindsay, Mr. Fleet of Foot, Lightfoot himself. Or should I start calling him Twinkle Toes? I want to say big ups to those who are locked in out of New Jersey. On NIE Radio, chilling with New Jersey's finest, the Motivator. Remember, you can catch the Motivator on Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, and Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern. Thursdays is Double Trouble Thursday. And Saturdays is Motivation Saturdays. You want to check him out? And you can link Mr. Lindsay on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, every day at noon. Big ups to the crew out of New York, Long Island, New York to be specific. Reggae Pulse Radio, the Atomic Force crew, DJ Buck. Much love to you, bro. Big ups to those who are locked in on PEMGTV.com. Big shout outs to the massive locked in on Facebook Live. Those locked in on Clubhouse, bubbling in the stew pot. Those on Zeno FM, also in the stew pot. Thank you. Remember, those of you on Clubhouse and Facebook Live, it's only a segment broadcast. I don't want you getting too comfortable, you know. Come on over to kevinstew.com. Just to let you know, the stew pot is bubbling once again. And those of you wondering what the stew pot is, it's what others call a chat room. So come on over to kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. Home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, and bubble up and simmer down in the stew pot. Be interactive. Add some spice to the broadcast by being a member in the stew pot. It's what others call a chat room, but because of fancy on kevinstew.com, it's the stew pot. You can remain anonymous if you wish. You can give your name. I just want you to participate and communicate. I want to say thank you to my sponsors. Segment sponsors, to be specific. Palsy Media Group and Being in a Moment is Priceless. Go ahead and give them a call. They handle your videos, your photos, your streaming, your ads. They do everything you see here on kevinstew.com, including hosting the website and more. So you have an event that you want to stream live on a secure platform, yours or theirs, no worries. Give them a call, 754-999-1140. That's 754-999-1140. Thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you, bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience. Go ahead and give her a call and schedule your appointment today, 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000. You can also email her at thealata@att.net. And she only has one request, outside of paying her, that is, and that is to please get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. It's called the Kevin Stew Clause, and you need to agree to it. You don't have to agree to it before she comes to you, but it's usually recommended you agree to it before she leaves. I want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global act as your booking agents, handle your tour management, take every business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Give them a call at 954-804-8199 or check them out at reggaeglobal.com. Thank you, Reggae Global Entertainment. Now, when you contact them, just say, hey, listen, I heard about you on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, yeah? I'll say thank you to McNeil Trucking. With McNeil Trucking, your goods are in good hands. Get them a call today. You want to move from point A to point B, move some things into storage, don't have the manpower, don't have the transportation, no worries, you have the phone number. 954-406-9740. And you have the name, McNeil. Tell them Kevin Stew sent you. Numbers to call, numbers to text to get you in touch tonight. 773-789-STEW. The phone lines are always open. You can WhatsApp, you can Telegram. So wherever you are in the world, you can contact us live and in living color. 773-789-STEW is the number to call. Those of you watching live, whether on kevinstew.com, on any of the platforms there, any of the mediums there. Yeah, there are two viewing mediums on kevinstew.com. So it's 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. Those of you on YouTube Live, much love to you. Hey, Miss Do. How do you do? Tonight in Real Talk, we try to figure out why people feel helpful. What is that thing where they just want to go out and do something good for somebody, do something good for the community on a whole? This thing that is called prosocial behavior. What is that? According to Psychology Today, oh, thank you, Leon Caldero, a track called Zaddy, to kick us off tonight. According to Psychology Today, a new study published in the Journal of Current Opinion in Psychology explains why the noble act of sacrifice may have hidden negative costs for both its giver and its receiver in a romantic relationship. And according to the study, these costs may accumulate and cause bigger problems for the relationship in the future. But before we get there, what exactly is prosocial behavior? Let's start at that point. Because it is these prosocial behaviors that lead to this giving in a relationship that could cause problems. I know some people's eyes are just going out of their heads right now. They're so wide. Yeah. Here's the thing. Prosocial behaviors are those intended to help other people. According to Very Well Mind, these actions are characterized by a concern for the rights, feelings, and welfare of other people. Behaviors that can be described as prosocial include feeling empathy and concern for others. Right. That feeling you get when someone is going through something and you're hurting with them as they hurt and you want to help them, and when you can, you give that helping hand. Yeah, that kind of a thing. Now, prosocial behavior includes a wide range of actions. Helping, sharing, comforting, cooperating, these all fall under that umbrella. The term itself originated in the 1970s and was introduced by social scientists and as an antonym for the term anti-social behavior. In addition to the obvious good that prosocial actions do for their recipients, the behaviors can have a range of beneficial effects for the helper, the person who is giving. It has mood boosting effects. And research has also shown that people who engage in prosocial behaviors are more likely to experience better moods. Not only that, people who help others tend to experience negative moods less frequently. Huh. Who'd have thunk it? There are also social support benefits. Having social support can be crucial for getting through difficult times. Research has shown that social support can have a powerful impact on many aspects of wellness, including reducing the risk of loneliness, alcohol abuse, and depression. Well, I guess if you have social support, then you would have people around you, and that feeling of loneliness may go away. Because whereas you may not be alone, you could still very well be lonely. Pom pom pom. There are also stress-reducing effects. And research has found that engaging in prosocial behaviors helps mitigate the negative emotional effects of stress. Helping others may actually be a great way to reduce the impact of stress in your life. Now, while prosocial behavior is often presented as a single uniform dimension, some research suggests that there are different types. These types are distinguished based on why they are produced and include proactive, reactive, and altruistic. Proactive being prosocial actions that serve self-benefiting purposes. Your reactive are the actions that are performed in response to individuals' needs, and the altruistic include actions that are meant to help others without any expectations of personal gain. Where do you fall in these three categories? Does any of them describe who you are or what you would generally do? Hey, Kelly Ray, how are you? You said people pleaser. Are they though? People who engage in prosocial behaviors, are they people pleasers? Would they fall under that category? Well, considering that it's broken up into three different types, your proactive, reactive, and altruistic, which ones would be the people pleasers? So I guess those would be the proactive ones, the ones that have self-serving benefits. Researchers also suggest that these different types of prosocial behaviors are often likely to be motivated by differing forces. For example, proactive prosocial actions were found to often be motivated by status-linked goals. things that relate to popularity within groups. Your altruistic pro-social behaviors, on the other hand, were more likely linked to being liked by peers and achieving shared goals. Marlon, you're all of the above. Oh, you were that out. I guess no one. I guess depending on when you're doing what you're doing, you'd fall into one of these categories at some point in time. Big ups to the Reggae Global Radio General Manager himself, Marlon Borrell, host of Real Rockers, and you can catch Marlon on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Real Rockers. Follow him on social media. Check him out on Reggae Global Radio. The man is amazing. Talk about a walking, talking encyclopedia of musical information. Yeah, Marlon. Now, looking at pro-social behavior versus altruism, how do you, since altruism is one of the categories that fall under pro-social behavior, how is it that you can compare the two? Altruism is often seen as a form of pro-social behavior, but some experts suggest that they represent different concepts. While pro-social behavior is seen as a type of helping behavior that ultimately confers some benefit to the self, altruism is viewed as a form of helping motivated purely out of concern for the individual in need. Others argue, however, that reciprocity actually does underline many examples of altruism, or that people engage in such seemingly selfish behaviors for selfish reasons. For example, a person might engage in altruism to gain their claim of others or to feel good about themselves. Well, here we go. Whenever the word selfish comes into play, I typically have something to say about that, because I view being selfish a little bit differently from even the scholars. I view it more, what is described as being selfish is more of being self-absorbed or self-centered, self-pleasing versus selfish. Because you really need to be selfish to make sure that you can give to others. You can't give up an empty cup, right? An empty vessel has nothing to give. So if you don't take care of self and make sure that you have filled up, or at least have something that you can give, then of what use are you? When you go on the plane and the little bag drop from the roof, from the ceiling, because air pressure has changed and you need to have oxygen, then whose mask are you putting on first? The person next to you? So that you can pass out? And then you cannot help them? That's why you're told to put on yours first, because you cannot help if you're unconscious and need help yourself. See how that works? So you do need to be selfish. And as such, I view being selfish a little bit differently from how the scholars would. Well, that's just me though. I don't know if anybody else sails in my boat, but I'm fine sailing alone where that is concerned. Now, if you want to sail in another boat with me, I like company. I really do. I'm a social being. I really like company. Pro-social behavior has long posed a challenge to social scientists. Researchers seek to understand why people engage in helping behaviors that are beneficial to others, but costly to the individual performing the action. That's always puzzled me. And those of the Christian faith are all taught stories of Jesus being selfish and stories of God so loving the world that he gave his only son to die for us. And so this would be the ultimate of pro-social behavior, right? That self-sacrificing But is that what really needs to happen? Is that how we should really live? Anybody ever asked that question? Is that really the right thing to do, or is there a right thing as it relates to that? In some cases, including acts of heroism, people will even put their own lives at risk in order to help others. The martyrs among us. Even those who are complete strangers. Why would people do something that benefits someone else but offers no immediate benefit to them, the doer? Why? Marlon, why do you do it? Anybody else that is listening in right now on any of the platforms, why would you do it? If you would, why did you do it if you did? 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. Let me hear from you. Jump into the stew pot and put your response there. You know, I want to hear from you guys. Psychologists suggest that there are a number of reasons why people engage in prosocial behavior. There are evolutionary influences, there are personal benefits, there are reciprocal behaviors, there is socialization. All of these are reasons psychologists have looked into or come up with when looking into why people engage in prosocial behavior. The first of them, evolutionary influences. Psychologists, or evolutionary psychologists to be specific, often explain prosocial behaviors in terms of the principles of natural selection. While putting your own safety in danger makes it less likely that you will survive to pass on your own genes, kin selection suggests that helping members of your own genetic family makes it more likely that your kin will survive and pass on genes to future generations. Researchers have been able to produce some evidence that people are often more likely to help those to whom they are closely related. Now, this closely related is not necessarily seen, well, I guess in psychology, it's not necessarily seen as your blood relatives, but those that you relate to the most. So those that are a part of your circle. So if you went to the same high school, if you like the same colors, if you have the same name, things like that, you know, things that link you as individuals that now put you in an in group. Because as social beings, one of the things that we tend to want to do is be a part of something. Even the antisocial ones. You know, they say they want to be by themselves, but still revel in the idea of sharing ideas of how to be alone. Well, as one of the antisocial behaviors. Marlon says, I have empathy for others and I tend to put myself in other situations and do what I would want someone to do for me if I were in that situation. I just don't like to see others struggle when I'm able to help. Do you know where that started though, Marlon? Do you know where and when? Was there something that triggered that for you? Was there a seed that was planted in you as you developed as a young man into adulthood? Or did you just wake up one day and say, boy, you know, I feel it for people. And if I can help them, I'm going to help them. You know, how did it manifest in you? And I really want people to look at that aspect of it for themselves. You know, if you're one who falls under this umbrella of being prosocial, you're a giver, you're a helper, you're whatever reason it is, or whatever thing would be used to describe you. Why? When did that start? Do you know? Can you trace back in your life to remember a moment when you weren't like that? and then something happened and you became like that. Marlon says, I feel bad when I'm not able to help, and that keeps me up at night. Well, there are sleep aids, Marlon. I'm saying, of course. So, who else does anybody else feel affected when they're not able to help? We're gonna take a quick little break. Give you all a little moment to think about it. We're looking at prosocial behaviors tonight in Real Talk. And Martin says there was no particular situation that triggered that. I have been that way for as long as I can remember. What were those that nurtured you? What were they like? Your older siblings, your caregivers, were they like that? Because I'm trying to pinpoint what it is if we're looking at nature or nurture as it relates to prosocial behavior. In this particular case, Marlon, as it relates to you, is it a nature or nurture thing? And anybody else that is listening in, think about it and just drop me a line. 773-789-STEW. Put in the stew pot on kevinstew.com. You don't have to register. You don't have to offer a firstborn, give an internal organ, nothing like that. You don't need a blood sacrifice. Just go to kevinstew.com and you're there. You can comment. You don't need to put your name. You can remain anonymous if you wish. Just comment there if you're shy. No need to be shy with me. You're just talking with me. The eavesdroppers, you don't need to worry about them. It's just me. So we're going to take a quick little break. We're going to part company with those on Facebook Live and those on Clubhouse. So you guys can use up the link. Come on over for the remainder of the broadcast. Those of you listening in on affiliate platforms, thank you very much. Truly appreciate all of you. Stick around. If you do want to comment, don't use those platforms because I won't see those messages. Come on over to kevinstew.com or use the phone number 773-789-STEW. Kellery says, ever since I was a small child. So that's what has been going. Again, why, Kellery? What was the thing that made you be that way? Was it something that you saw as you were growing up and then it resonated with you and you just picked up on that and went with it? Here we go. Marlon says, my mother is a giver. Other people around me were the opposite. Well, I know how close you are to your mother. So that would be that influence that you had. So, Kelly Ray, what was your influence? Marlon said it was his mom. What's your influence, Kelly Ray? And anybody else listening in? Miss Du, where do you fall in this? Let me hear from you guys. We'll be right back after these messages. Come, call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too, because this information is good for everybody. We're talking about prosocial behavior. And even if you do have enemies, they have prosocial behaviors too within their groups. Yeah? Cool. So, go ahead and call them up. Send them a message. You don't even have to like them to do it. Just do it. And do remember, 4431 says, I assume my mom. So your mother was the influencer that led you to be what? 4431. What how do you identify as it relates to prosocial behavior or antisocial behavior? Which of the two resonates more with you? Doesn't mean that is the thing that defines you, but which of them resonates more with you? It just felt normal since I was super young. Okay. What just felt normal? That's what I'm trying to figure out. 4431. Oh, okay. I got you. I know who you are now. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we talk some more. Do remember, visit the Mary Kay store. Which Mary Kay store? My Mary Kay store. I am an independent Mary Kay consultant. So come on over, check out my store. Get something in there. It is marykay.com/Kevin Stew. And it's something, you can get something from men, you can get something for women, because everybody has skin, right? For men, there's beard care, there's fragrances, there's some face care in there too, just for men. And of course, for the ladies, you have endless amounts of products to choose from. But everybody has skin, and I got into it for the skincare. So jump on in, support my business, support me, support my family by doing so. Ladies, you can also get this nice skin balancing cream. For those of you who not really into the makeup things, even if you are, it's a beautiful product. It works amazingly. And this picture of my friend right here is a real picture of her. She does have blemishes on her face. And if you look closely, you will see some blemishes, but they're faded out using just a little bit of this CC cream. So you can find that on marykay.com/Kevin Stew. Check it out. If you can't remember that website, that web link, no worries. Go to kevinstew.com. There's a link to my Mary Kay page right there. Just click on it and it takes you over. All right, cool.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsey Media Group.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly
I
and
learned
useless.
that I'm trash.
And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm
I
pathetic
learned that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that
school,
I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick.
And in
And
gym,
at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell.
and a joke.
In chemistry, I learned that no one likes
In
me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I learned
math,
that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn,
It's why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Reggae Global Entertainment presents the brand new self-titled album from Yishka with 9 great songs. Oh, baby, let me love you.
Oh, baby.
Be grateful for life.
Be grateful for life.
Shake you down.
Girl, I wanna shake you
What else can I do?
What else can I
Babe, come over.
do? Baby, come over.
My. It's our time
It's our time. You know I love you.
for your love.
For your love, I would do anything.
I'm Falling. Yishka. 9 great songs. Available on all streaming platforms. Available now.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Selassie DJ Kevin Stew.
Be grateful for life. Give thanks for each day that you're here. I know sometimes it's rough, still you gotta face the day. So be strong. The time is now, so you gotta do your best. Hey, and stand tall. Greet each day, hey, in your own way. Hey, never give up, no. Gotta live up, yo. Be grateful for life. Give thanks for each day that you're here. Be grateful for life. Give thanks for each day that you're here. Imagine the life you want. Keep it in your mind. Don't let go. No, no, no. Surround yourself with people who will help you on your climb. Gotta stay strong, you know. Domo arigato, domo arigato, domo arigato. Be grateful for life. Give thanks for each day that you're here. Be grateful for life. Give thanks for each day that you're here. Just remember to love yourself and give thanks and praise. Celebrate your life. Yeah. Greet each day, hey, in your own way. Hey, never give up, no. Gotta live up, yo. Be grateful for life. Give thanks for each day that you're here. Be grateful for life.
Be grateful for life and give thanks for each day. The sound of Yishka
That you're here.
bring us back from the break.
Be grateful for life.
From the album Yishka.
Thanks for each day.
It's Real Talk right here on the night shift to DJ Kevin Steve. If you're just joining us, welcome to the broadcast. If you have been with us, then you know what we're talking about. It is prosocial behavior. What is that? Something that was coined. It's a phrase that was, or a term that was coined back in the 70s, 1970s, to as an antonym for antisocial behavior. So these would then be the quote unquote good guys. Right? Because this is the positive side of things versus the antisocial, which is tend to be the not so positive side. Not to say that antisocial people are inherently bad and prosocial are inherently good, just the types of things that they do. The question was posted in the stew pot: is it possible that some incarcerated people are prosocial? I would say absolutely. As a matter of fact, I believe that some people are incarcerated because of their prosocial behavior. Yeah, I'll let that sink in for a moment. Not everybody in prison is in prison because they are just bad people. You have good people in prison that did something good for possibly the wrong reason, and it landed them in prison. How about that? In continuing, looking at the reasons why people engage in prosocial behavior. So you have your evolutionary influences. Then you have personal benefits. Prosocial behaviors are often seen as being compelled by a number of factors, including egoistic reasons, doing things to improve one's self-image, reciprocal benefits, which is doing something nice for someone so that they may one day return the favor, and more altruistic reasons, performing actions purely out of empathy for another individual. Marlon says this is where he typically falls, in the altruistic, but he identifies with all the areas. Now, there's also reciprocal behavior. And the norm of reciprocity suggests that when people do something helpful for someone else, the person feels compelled to help out in return. Do unto others as you'd like them to do unto you, kind of a thing. The norm, developed evolutionary scientists suggests, because people who understood that helping others might lead to reciprocal kindness were more likely to survive and reproduce. So, pay it forward. I do it for you. You don't have to do it back for me, you know. Do it for someone else because someone did it for you. Hence, typically, building a better community. Oh, you meant incarnated. All right. As in the spirit of the person lives on, like reincarnation. Is that the incarnated that you're referring to? 4432? I'm just asking. Where was I? So so that's the reciprocal behavior, right? Cool. Now, socialization. Comment here. What if it's just someone's nature that they come into this planet being that way? Okay. So before I get into socialization, now we're looking at individuals as energy, which if by now everybody would have heard that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, so it only changes form. And as such, because we are energy, which is one of the reasons why our heart stops, we get electrocuted as a means to stimulate that. Our brain sends messages to our limbs, our nerves pass on messages by way of electrical impulses. We are energy. And so when our physical form dies, what happens to that energy? Since energy cannot be created nor destroyed, that energy must continue. So say some people are incarnated, and as such, so the energy flow continues, and as such, some people are just born to be that way. I believe that too is possible. Hey, listen. The foundation of it is energy. And for those that say you die That's the end of you. Nothing lives on. Well, how do you explain the child that grows up apart from one of their parents, but yet still their behaviors are just like that parent? Their mannerisms. That is what? You're going to say, okay, that is DNA, but it is mannerisms. It's how they behave, which generally we associate with nurturing. They see it, they witness it from someone else, so they adopt that. But this individual whom they act like is not in the picture. So how do they end up acting like this individual? Without a transference of energy. See, we look at it, reincarnation typically in the form of someone passing away and coming back in another lifetime versus just the next generation, the offspring. We tend to look past that for some reason. But now you get to think about it. There is socialization as the third reason why people engage in prosocial behavior. And in many cases, such behaviors are fostered during childhood and adolescence as adults encourage children to share, act kindly, and help others, which is what we're talking about. The nurturing part. Hence the question, could it be that some people are just born that way? Yeah. And that is then, it could be fostered as the child grows. Someone could try to break it out of them but fails as that child grows. That too is possible. But yes, I believe that as energy, we end up being incarnate. Yes. Characteristics of the bystander effect. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the bystander effect, and it's one of the most interesting things that I had come across in social psychology. Characteristics of this situation can also have a powerful impact on whether or not people engage in pro-social actions. And the bystander effect is one of the most notable examples of how the situation can impact helping behaviors. The bystander effect refers to the tendency for people to become less likely to assist a person in distress when there are a number of other people also present. Sounds weird, right? Yeah, the individual's one looking on, expecting that someone else is going to do because that other person may be more qualified than. Yeah. So there's a story, and I'm actually gonna get to that story in a bit of that story in this information that I'm relaying to you. It blew my mind when I first heard it. If you drop your purse, as an example, if you drop your purse, wallet, whatever, and several items fall out on the ground, the likelihood that someone will stop and help you to pick them up decreases if there are many other people present. The same sort of thing can happen in cases where someone is in serious danger, like a car accident. And witnesses might assume that since there are so many other people present, someone else would have already called for help or will try to help. There's the 1964 murder of a young woman named Kitty Genovese. And this spurred much of the interest and research on the bystander effect. She was attacked late at night near her apartment, but no one contacted authorities during the attack. They heard her screams. They knew this woman was being attacked. Later on, research demonstrated that many of the neighbors may not have had a clear view of what was happening, which explained why no one tried to intervene or contact the police. However, the crime still spurred an abundance of research on the bystander effect and prosocial behavior. Then there's other influences on prosocial behavior. And research on the bystander effect resulted in a better understanding of why people help in some situations but not in others. Experts have discovered that a number of different situational variables that contribute to and sometimes interfere with prosocial behaviors. There was one other situation, one other scenario that I had come across as I did my social psychology studies, and it was the story of these individuals on a bridge. It involved road rage, if my memory serves me correctly. Now, this man was attacking this woman, and there were people there, and everybody looked on as the man attacked this woman, basically saying, oh, someone else is gonna go and help her, and nobody did. Bystander effect. So some of the variables, the situational variables that could affect prosocial behaviors include fear of judgment or embarrassment. Believe it or not. People sometimes fear leaping to assistance only to discover that their help was unwanted or unwarranted. In order to avoid being judged by other bystanders, people simply take no action. But here's the thing. With taking no action, they run the risk of being judged anyway for not taking action. It's just that they're now in a position to say, but you didn't take action either. Then there's how other people respond. People also tend to look at others, or to look to others for how to respond in such situations, particularly if the event contains some level of ambiguity. If no one else seems to be reacting, then individuals become less likely to respond as well. There's a study that was done as it relates to groupthink. And so these individuals, about 5 or 6 of them, and they're shown these cue cards with some things that are one thing that is correct and some others that are obviously incorrect. And the first round, everybody answered individually, going down the line, correctly. The next round, they were instructed to answer, just a couple of people were instructed to answer incorrectly. Then everybody was instructed to answer incorrectly, and one person who was not instructed to answer incorrectly slowly conformed to the group, answering incorrectly to the obviously correct answer. So it's all a part of this socialization, the fact that we are social beings. And so here, the bystander effect, we're looking on at others around us, expecting someone else to do something. Also, the other side of it, doing what the others are doing, so that we are a part of that group. Because again, as social beings, it's an in-group kind of a thing. You want to be a part of a group. You want to feel like you belong. You step out and do something different from someone else, and you no longer belong. Only a few people can comfortably do that, for whatever reason. Maybe I should look into that too. Those that swim against the grain, or swim against the current, don't quite move with the crowd, kind of a thing. Then there's a number of people that are present that affect the bystander effect. The more people who are around, the less personal responsibility people feel in a situation. And this is known as the diffusion of responsibility. So the more people you are around, the more that responsibility can be spread among the group. And so it takes something away from that individual, the self. Takes away some of that responsibility. But if we all understand that we have a role to play, if we all understand, it's like the analogy of the bundle of matches. You take one match and you just beep, snap it. No problems. You take a bundle, a handful of those same type of matches. Snap that. Do it the same way with 2 fingers. There's strength in numbers. So, in the very same way, you have the diffusion of responsibility. The same way that the bunch of matchsticks get strength. So now that one match is saying, I have strength in all of these. I don't need, the same way they're saying, I don't need to be the only one to light this fire. Diffusion of responsibility. I don't need to do anything here because all these people are not doing anything. I thought they would do it. I don't know what skill set they have. They might know something more about the situation than I did. I just came along and saw them. So if they didn't do anything and I came along and saw them, then why am I going to do something? And all of these questions come into play and are used as justifiable excuses. We're going to take another break. Those of you just tuning in, we're looking at prosocial behavior. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more. Because how then does one take action when it comes to things like this? As according to Very Well Mind, we're going to look at how to take action. All right? And it involves 5 simple things. Real quick. 5. And we'll look at some more into prosocial behavior. And we're going to go to where we started. Where this prosocial behavior, how it could possibly do more harm than good. Because according to Psychology Today, in an article just this week, relationship sacrifices, though noble, can have heavy psychological costs. Because these sacrifices aren't always worth making. Which ones would those be? Have you made any such sacrifice in your relationship? Something to think about, isn't it? We'll be right back after these messages. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Making great music is one thing, sharing it with the world, that's another. Let the professionals at Reggae Global Entertainment help you to another level. specializing in artist management, booking, public relations and marketing, and promotion. Reggae Global Entertainment can help you with event planning, websites, photography, and video production, press releases, legal services, and graphic design. They can even help you with music production so you can get the sound that you want every time. Call Reggae Global Entertainment at 954-804-8199. That's 804-8199. Or visit them online at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. Teddy Greaves Jr. with 6 brand new songs out now on his brand new EP, Teddy Greaves Jr. with songs you know and love like Can You Stop the Rain? One Last Cry. Can't Get Over You. Wait Too Long. You and I. And One Last Cry, the acoustic version. Teddy Greaves Jr. Now available on all major digital platforms. Teddy Greaves Jr.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Hey yo, this is Carman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift.
Listen up now, to how them systems set up, yeah. Listen up now, teacher say, the man with the gold, he makes the rules. Yeah, money control, that's the golden rule. Yeah, man with the gold, he makes the rules. Yeah, money control, that's the golden rule. Yeah. They too say you didn't know that style. This is the rule that's been around for a while. There's a system for the rich man and another for the poor. I'll tell you something where you never know real. A lot of them have immunity deal. And that's why the life of a brother man has no value anymore. The man with the gold, he makes the rules. Yeah, money control, that's the golden rule. Yeah, man with the gold, he makes the rules. Yeah, money control, that's the golden rule. Yeah. They take a big right, put it in the system, supporting both sides before the voting. And let it seems like democracy is a joking. It's just a game they are playing. So in this time, we have to have a fit mind. In this time, we will never lose our sunshine. Overstand what teachers say. The man with the gold, he makes the rules. Yeah, money control, that's the golden rule. Yeah, man with the gold, he makes the rules. Yeah, money control, that's the golden rule. Yeah. Remember this are the elite them style. This a one that's been around for a while. There's a system for the rich man and another for the poor. I'll tell you something where you never know real. A lot of golden rule.
The son of Teacher D bringing us back from the break.
Man with the
Track called Golden Rule.
rules. Yeah, money control.
We grew up knowing the golden rule to be do unto others as you would like them to do unto you, right?
Hear what teacher say.
Teacher D says the man with the gold makes the rules. So it's different depending on where you live, what side of the tracks you come from, you know, your social standing. Before we look at the whole pro-social behavior in relationships, researchers have suggested that there are 5 key things that must happen in order for a person to take action. 1, they must notice what is happening. 2, they must interpret the event as an emergency. 3, they must experience feelings of responsibility. 4, they must believe they have the skills to help. And 5, they must make a conscious choice to offer assistance. Now, making that conscious choice to do something takes us back to, is it going to be altruistic? Is it going to be reactive? Or is it going to be proactive? Where now do these actions fall? Because you can't really separate them. You know, you're looking at the action, you're going to put in some kind of category, because at the end of it all, the individual, how they react to their recognizing their response may be of a telltale sign then of why they did what they did. Now, with it being honorable to put aside one's own self-interest because of a partner. So you're in a relationship with someone and you put aside your self-interest. The whole idea of that, research shows there is a difficult aftermath for both the giver and the recipient of that type of action. As according to psychologist Francesca Righetti. Now, Righetti's research assessed sacrifice in relationships from 4 different aspects by analyzing the results of more than 80 previous studies. The aspects were willingness to sacrifice, the act of sacrifice, satisfaction with sacrifice, and the cost of the sacrifice. The researchers found relationship sacrifice to be an exceptionally costly prosocial behavior. The giver experiences lower well-being after sacrificing, and the recipient starts having mixed feelings about the sacrifice and the partner. On the one hand, the receiver feels grateful, they feel loved and accepted, but they also feel guilty and in debt. And we know that having mixed feelings is not good for relationships, according to Righetti. Now, sacrifice works differently compared to other prosocial behaviors in that it involves giving up one's own preferences or goals for others. When people engage in other prosocial behaviors, they usually don't need to give up something that they would rather not, or they would rather keep. Sacrifice is costly because it requires one to give up their own preferences and goals. Focusing on these costs appears to be especially detrimental for the giver's well-being and for the relationship. So that individual that says, no, you don't love me unless you're willing to give me your last. You know, you're eating that meal that you love so much, and I ask you for that last bite. You should be able to give it to me because you love me. But at what cost? Because you love me, you should have never asked me for that last piece. How about that thought? Now everybody starts getting up in arms about, oh, so it's a tit for tat. No, it's not a tit for tat. It's a think this thing through. Another crucial finding of Rigetti's study was that women were especially likely to experience lower well-being after having sacrificed. Does that mean that women are less likely to sacrifice? While the reasons for this tendency are still being studied, Rigetti gives us this tentative explanation. You ready for it? Grab your pens and papers. And if not, don't worry. The podcast will be there in the morning. You can go to kevinstew.com and listen to it again or watch it again. Up to you. We think that it may be that women may sacrifice more in their relationship and that because of gender roles, they're also expected to sacrifice more and they do not receive as much appreciation and validation as men for their sacrifices. In sum, or to summarize, they may especially experience the costs and very little of the benefits. All things considered, Rigetti warns that viewing sacrifice as an inherently negative or positive behavior may not be useful because in most relationships, sacrifices are inevitable. What one can change, however, is the way they appraise the nature and necessity of a particular sacrifice. If you are grappling with sacrifice in your own relationship, here's some advice that Rigetti gives. 1, change what you focus on. If you focus on what you have lost after a sacrifice, you are more likely to experience lower personal well-being and relationship satisfaction. So you are encouraged to look at the bright side of the sacrifice. Looking at how happy your partner is or what you or they can learn from this sacrifice or feeling proud of being such a generous person. Look, so take away one of those positive things versus the loss. Reconsider the need to sacrifice is something else to consider. Sometimes sacrifices are necessary to maintain a relationship. However, there are times when they can be avoided through contingency plans and a little bit of adjustment. As an explanation, Rigetti gives the example of moving due to a partner's career opportunity or a partner wanting to spend a weekend with their parents. In the first situation, either they sacrifice their career opportunity or the partner moves with them. In the second, sacrifice is not necessary. If one partner wants to spend a weekend with their parents and the other doesn't, then just do that. Spend the weekend separately. One goes with the parent and the other one stays. Boom, problem solved. No stress. Ultimately, couples need to navigate these situations and decide when it is necessary that one of them sacrifices and when it is possible for each of them to pursue their preferences independently while remaining joyful afterwards. You see, one of the things that people tend to enter into relationships with is the concept of you complete me. And that can be a bit dangerous because it removes individuality from the relationship. If they were to change that one word, complete, and replace it with complement, now that changes the whole dynamic. Because you recognize the individuality of the individual is still in the relationship that makes the relationship happen. It's not going to be something that you want to have if you're just doing it with yourself. That's why you have connected with someone else. So in this connection, you need to recognize that that other person is just that, their own person. And so are you. Don't lose yourself in the relationship thinking that now you are one and you should do everything as one together and you should always agree. That is not going to happen. What builds a relationship is how you navigate those situations when you don't agree. How do you move forward from that? When you don't share the same goals at that particular point in time, or you don't share the same views on that issue. Your ability to navigate that determines how strong your relationship will be. Recognizing that who you were when you entered into this relationship, even after you have navigated that situation, you are not that same person anymore because you have learned something. And each time you learn something, you grow. Now remember, once you stop learning, then you have gotten to a state of stagnancy. Anything that is stagnant is dead. Think about it. So, do you want your relationship to be stagnant? Because now it's comfortable, you don't need to do any more work, you can just lay back and enjoy it? That's not how relationships work, though. And it doesn't really matter what the type of relationship. It could be your siblings, it could be your neighbor down the street, it could be your romantic partner. I don't care. The fundamentals remain the same. You're going to be growing. You're going to be evolving. And you may end up growing apart. Ooh. Now, Kevin is talking about something that shouldn't happen. Why should people who have entered into this relationship end up growing apart? What kind of thing is that? Are you saying that people are to go into relationships only for it to end? Everything must come to an end at some point. But no, I'm not saying that they're to go into it to end, for it to end. They're to go into it expecting that it can end, but wanting for it to continue. And as such, this is where the work comes in. Now, I am not going to be working on my partner, and I don't expect my partner to be working on me. I expect to be working on me and my partner to be working on themselves. And together, we work on the relationship as a result of that. Because now we end up sharing with each other. And in that sharing, my partner can say, hey, here is something that happened with us, and this is how I felt about it. It could be good, bad, or indifferent, but this is how they felt about it. And now we can talk about this, and we can strategize and find ways to build on that. It's the same thing, the same concept that you take into business partnerships. Hey, this is the goal that we are trying to accomplish. How are we going to get there? Does it sound like the same romantic relationship? That romantic partnership? Now, how different from a business partnership does it sound? It's not very different. It's just approached differently. And so the businessman that is always failing in his businesses, doesn't he run the risk of always failing in his romances? Or the businesswoman. I'm not just going to limit it to being men, because it happens with the women too. And sometimes I talk with these women that ask the question, you know, why don't I have someone? Why can't I find someone? Why can't? Okay. What have you done as it relates to yourself? What kind of relationship do you have with yourself? How much do you love you? Can you recognize when someone else is showing you that kind of love? Can you tell someone how you want to be loved? And find out if they are capable of giving you that kind of love. And ask of them to be respectful enough and honest enough to say whether or not they can. Because you might look like the bomb diggity, but your personality just sucks. to that individual. Now remember, to every individual who was a horrible partner, they have a great partner, or they have been a great partner to someone else. So that was probably just your experience. And so this is the ebb and flow of life, and it happens with prosocial behaviors. How so? Well, the one who wants to give off themselves to make sure that others are in a better position. You see how it comes back to the relationship, that romantic relationship? Because you and I are in a relationship, in a romantic relationship, and I do this broadcast 3 nights a week, and here comes one night when there's the opportunity to go to dinner somewhere that you wanted to go. There was some discount, special discount or whatever, and it was just that night. But it is my broadcast night. And you know how I feel about my broadcast. And I give up my broadcast for the night to go with you because you wanted this. Where do I place my focus? Is it that I was just such a great partner that I could sacrifice my broadcast, which I love so much, for you? And should I see that as a sacrifice? Or should I see the opportunity to spend this time that would not normally happen? Should that be the takeaway? Where should the emphasis go? Based on what we have learned tonight as it relates to prosocial behavior and relationships, if I focus on the sacrifice, if we both focus on the sacrifice of me giving up the broadcast just to go out with you, what will happen is that I will start to feel resentful that I gave up the night just for this, if you don't make me feel good about it. That possibility exists. And then you will start feeling bad too, because imagine you made me give up a night just to come out here and we didn't enjoy the food. Now you start to feel guilty. See how prosocial behavior can end up being a negative thing in relationships. Too much of anything can be a bad thing. Which is why everything has its yin and its yang. You can't really get away from it. So for those who never really stopped to look at prosocial behavior and what it is, here's your introduction. Here is something to think about when it comes to prosocial behavior versus antisocial behavior. And I'm trying to remember, did I ever look at antisocial? I think I did. Now that we're talking, and I meant to check it out earlier, and I didn't. But if I didn't, that is where we're going to go next. Antisocial behavior. Since we looked at prosocial behavior, might as well, right? It only stands to reason. But if I did before, I'll add it as a card on this broadcast. So you can refer to that after reviewing this one. I want to thank you guys for sharing. Thank you for your input. Those of you who have been in the stew pot, bubbling up and adding spice to the broadcast. Those of you who have sending me messages. I appreciate, love it. Thank you for taking the time out to be a part of this. Some of you have sacrificed sleep time for it. Some of you are in different time zones, so it's still early yet. It all works out. And some, it's so early that people don't expect to be awake. but still you are here. And I just want you to know that I truly appreciate of it. But we're going to jump into musical therapy right about now. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Those of you who normally check me out on a Saturday, do remember the Saturday Stew comes up at 8 p.m. on Reggae Global Radio, also on the Foundation Radio Network. Thank you, Mr. Lindsay, for taking me there also. So the week continues, the broadcasts continue. Do check out the other broadcasts on the various platforms. Don't just be partial to me, although I don't mind. And if you know someone with a business and looking to advertise, tell them to give me a call. 773-789-STEW. Advertising spots are available. You can sponsor the whole broadcast if you wish. There's advertising available on the website. Just contact me. We can talk about it and I can send my advertising schedule. All right? Cool. Musical therapy time. Kicking it off, Korik. Track called I'll Be Here.
I'll never leave your side, I'll be here when you call. And there's no judgment, you don't have to be scared at all. If your world comes crashing down, one thing will remain true, that I will always be here watching over you. You are a champion, you are a king, and all the power of the universe dwells within you.
Hey cuz, how you doing?
Have confidence, cause you're made to win. And if ever you can't hear my voice, just listen inward. I'll give you my ear so you can feel free to talk. Express your ideas and let me hear all your thoughts. And whatever goes down, you can always come to me. Cause whether father or friend, whatever you need, I'll be. Stand on my shoulders so you can see that there is nothing in this world you can't achieve. It is your future, you hold the key. So never be afraid to lead and rule your destiny. Watch out for friends who will try to take away what you've earned. Their agenda is hidden, but you've got to discern. Cause when the party is over and everyone's had their fun, they've got their own lives to live and you got your race to run. My son, run like a champion, lead like a king. Know all the power of the universe dwells in you. You must have confidence, cause you're made to win. And if ever you can't hear my voice, son, just listen inward. Of my life praising you, and it came at a cost, but there are no charges due. Still in return, there's just one thing that I want you to do. Take care of each other as I took care of you. I say you're never gonna get me down.
Talk about a sacrifice. That's right there.
It's a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take.
This is new music from G. Cole.
I make this journey.
Track called Peace of Mind is a Holiday.
Peace of mind is a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take. And every time that I make my journey, it just blows my mind away. It's such a blessing to be alive in this world that we all reside. And you can call it to what you want to. I just love my chilling time. I get a thrill like every day, sitting here and watching the children play. I read them a book and I tell them stories. You should hear the things they say. And every time somebody greets me, says hello, I take it easy. I say hello now, how you feeling? You be safe, it was a pleasure meeting you. Peace of mind is a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take. And every time that I make this journey, it just blows my mind away. Peace of mind is a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take. And every time that I make my journey, it just blows my mind away. There's no reason to get upset. Just says to do your part, and he's gonna do the rest. Don't hurt your heart, it only causes stress. You may not realize it, but you're truly blessed. And I know sometimes it's hard. You've worked all day and you don't see rewards. Come on, my brother, let down your guard. Aim for the skies, you might just reach the stars. I know it's money that you're trying to make, but if you're tired, you should take a break. It's not worth it if you break down. There's just a way too much at stake. Take a vacation if you want to. Spend some time with the ones that want you to be okay, because they love you. Oh my God, I said I wanna thank you. Peace of mind is a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take. And every time that I make this journey, it just blows my mind away. Peace of mind is a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take. And every time that I make my journey, it just blows my mind away. Whoa, whoa, I say you're never gonna get me down. Oh no, oh no. Ain't no love in Kingston City. There ain't no love in the country town.
This is new music from Ambelique.
And it's sure enough for pity.
It's called Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City.
Nowhere to be found. Not long ago, everything was so good. Caught your love in this old neighborhood. Now it's all gone. Say the sun don't shine from the city hall.
for pity. Ain't no love, nowhere to be found. Ain't no love, said ain't no love nowhere. No love in Kingston City, Kingston City. Ain't no love.
Brand new music from Mr. Vegas, titled Love Has No Color.
If we love each other, the world will be a better place. Love has no color, love has no race. Just love one another, and this world will be a better place. That would be so special, so special, so special. Love alone wins, it alone I get the medal. Love is so special, so special, so special. It's just like the chlorophyll in every petal. You're me, I want with the universe. You no sell me false doctrine about me curse. Everything is a cycle and no reverse. So me, you're always the best and never yet the worst. Me and the water in the reverse. And if you look on it that way, then me can't return. Me, you never last, me, you always first. They teach me about them white cat and black Lucifer. But God has no color, God has no race. If we love each other, the world will be a better place. Love has no color, love has no race. Just love one another, and this world will be a better place. Me and the darkness, me and the light, me and the Marcos, Africa unite. Me and the global votes like it was strike. Me and the love of and me and the heights. So if you don't understand this performance, go to Mama Earth and ask me some guidance. You and yourself a plain social distance, cause you can trick by the cat and trick roll. Everybody say whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, 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 yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, 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 yeah. Love has no color, love has no race. If we love each other, the world will be a better place. Love has no color.
You said to put my trust in you. You said
This is the son of J.E.
through. You said
Track is called Alpha and Omega.
fear. Seek, knock, ask, and you'd be there for me. You said that in your holy name, Lord, mountains could move and waters tame. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the one who is and was and is to come. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the one who is and was and is to come. I am. You said that in your holy name, Lord, mountains could move and waters tame. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the one who is and was and is to come. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the one who is and was and is to come. I am. The battle's already won, Almighty One. The battle's already won. You said to set my sights on you, Lord. You said your word would guide me through. You said that you'd be in my heart. Stay faithful and you'd never part from me. You said that in your holy name, Lord, mountains could move and waters tame. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the one who is and was and is to come. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the one who is and was and is to come. I am.
Time we find our voice and sing again.
This is Christine Alicia.
Time we remember our power comes from within.
A track called Gold.
Time we bring out the courage of our ancestors, name them, call them, they're with us. Time we find our voice and sing again. It's about time. We know nature's gifts and resources, still we fall slave by taking favors. By time we look round our foreign friends, them take our best word, not even show who are the leaders. Time we find our voice and sing again. It's about time. Come people, make us remember our power within. Who here see the times manifested? Who here see the times repeated? Our time is now. Now 'cause we know our worth more than gold. We're worth more than gold. Our time is here. Now 'cause we know and see that there's more to what's been told. We're worth more than gold. Can't steal from a heart where gold is abundant. Can't take peace from the crown where righteousness stand on. Still wars keep us divided. False narratives keep lying. Politics and religion keep us blinded. My people perish for lack of knowledge, and we swallow whatever the media tells us. Now let us remember where we come from. Let us remember what made us legends. Time we find our voice and sing again. Time we remember our power comes from within. Who here see the times manifested? Who here see the times repeated? Our time is now. Now 'cause we know our worth more than gold. We're worth more than gold. Our time is here. Now 'cause we know and see that there's more to what's been told. We're worth more than gold. The half has never been told. We're worth more than gold. The half has never been told. We're not gonna sell out. We're not gonna sell out our roots and our culture. We're not gonna sell out. We're not gonna sell out our roots and our culture. Our time is now. Now 'cause we know our worth more than gold.
Girl, I will never change this. Real love, baby, I could never fake this.
This is the Zone of Deville.
Your smiles can
It's
take.
called Happy.
Lost a lot of things, but I'm glad that I found you. I found you, girl. It don't really matter if it's winter, summer, spring, or fall. If I gotta go against the world for you,
I risk it all. I hope you know what you mean to me. When you're with me, I feel complete. I'd give up everything before I let you go. As long as you're happy, seeing you happy, that makes me happy. 'Cause you mean the world to me. As long as I'm living, my only mission is keeping you happy. You happy. I just want you all for me. Whenever you call for me, you know that I'll be on my way. No matter what time or day, I just want you to understand me. Oh yeah, nothing else comes before you. It don't really matter if it's winter, summer, spring or fall. If I gotta go against the world for you, I risk it all. I hope you know what you mean to me. When you're with me, I feel complete. I'd give up everything before I let you go. As long as you're happy, seeing you happy, that makes me happy. 'Cause you mean the world to me. As long as I'm living, my only mission is keeping you happy. You happy. You are the melody to my song, my favorite chord on my guitar.
This is the sound of Carvon.
On my warmth on a cold night.
A track called You Make Me Right.
For your love. 'Cause maybe I don't say it enough, but woman, you make me strong. You light up my life. Your voice is my song. You make me right. You make me right. For you give me every day. No question asked. You make me right. I wanna thank you every day. In every way. The rocky road with you is fine. Girl, I'm well because I know you're mine. Give me your smile is everything. Baby, you're the beat that makes my heart. You make my heart sing. 'Cause maybe I don't say it enough, but woman, you make me strong. You light up my life, and your voice is my song. And maybe I don't show it enough, but you taught me love, you showed me love. Ooh, you make me right. You make me right. Oh, you give me every day. No questions asked. You make me right.
just want to express that you guys make me right. And thank you for doing so. As we part company, I do want to remind you to look out for members of your community and to remember that your community is not just a development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So those that you pass on the bus, the plane, the boat, or the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive, do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew. This is how I like to do it to you, for you, and with you every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Right here, 10 p.m. KevinStew.com and affiliates. I want to say thank you to my affiliates for tonight too. NIE Radio, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, Reggae Pulse Radio, PEMGTV.com, Zeno FM. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's your every day.
Do remember to join me on Saturday for the Saturday Stew on Reggae Global Radio at 8 p.m. And thank you also to my segment, sponsor for this segment, McNeil Trucking. McNeil Trucking, your goods are in good hands. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I wish you a good night. Be good. If you can't be good at it. Love you, cuz. Much love to you all. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on KevinStew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.